3 tools that SaaS companies bill $600 a month or more for now run at exactly $0 self-hosted on a $20 server. Not a trial, not a freemium tier that paywalls the feature you actually need 3 clicks in. 0 permanently. For as long as you host it yourself. LibreChat, Flowise, and Supabase, a chat interface, an automation builder, and a full backend, quietly do the job of tools like Retool, Pinecone, and Intercom, and they do it without a card on file. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what each one replaces, what it cost you in setup time instead of dollars, and where the free ride actually ends. Okay, so here's the assumption this breaks first. The assumption is that internal tools, vector search, and customer chat are 3 separate line items, each with its own vendor, its own invoice, its own renewal date, buried in a Slack channel nobody reads. Retool alone can run $400 to $600 a month once you're past a couple of seats, and that's before per-user pricing kicks in for anyone outside the core team who needs read access. Pinecone's managed vector database bills by the pod and the query volume, and that number creeps up quietly as your embeddings grow. Nobody notices the bill sliding from $90 to $200 because it happens one index at a time. Intercom's per-seat pricing turns a 5-person support team into an $800 line item before anyone notices, and that's the base plan before any AI-assisted reply feature gets bolted on as a separate add-on. Stack all 3 together, and a small team is often paying somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a month just to have an internal dashboard, a searchable knowledge base, and a support inbox. None of these tools are overpriced for what they promise. They're built for teams who'd rather write a check than manage a server, and for years that trade made sense, because the self-hosted alternatives were half-finished side projects with 3 contributors in a README that assumed you already knew what you were doing. Then, over roughly the last 18 months, a handful of open source projects crossed the line from interesting weekend build to something you could actually run in production, and that assumption stopped being automatically true. So that's the what. Now here's why these 3 specifically hold together as a stack, instead of being 3 unrelated tools you'd have to duct tape together yourself. LibreChat is underneath the interface, a wrapper that speaks to nearly every model API and every local model runtime through one consistent chat layer. OpenAI, Anthropic, Llama, whatever you point it at, and it ships with the same kind of admin controls, conversation history, and multi-user support you'd expect from a paid internal tool, because that's exactly the gap it's filling. It also supports plugins and custom endpoints, so the same interface your support team uses to answer tickets can just as easily sit in front of a locally hosted model, with no separate integration work. Flowise is a visual node-based automation builder that sits on top of LangChain, so instead of writing orchestration code by hand, you're wiring boxes together on a canvas, retrieve documents, call a model, format the output, hit a webhook. It's the same mental model as Retool's app builder, except the app. It builds as an AI workflow instead of a CRUD dashboard, and the building blocks are already pre-wired for embeddings, retrieval, and chained model calls instead of database queries. And Supabase is the piece that ties it together on the back end. Postgres with a vector extension bolted on, meaning your embeddings, your user data, and your auth all live in one database instead of 3 separate vendor dashboards with 3 separate APIs to keep in sync. That's the trick. You're not stitching together 3 unrelated tools and hoping the integrations hold. You're replacing 3 SaaS categories with 3 tools that were built to talk to each other from day one, because 2 of them, Flowise and LibreChat, already ship with native Supabase connectors in their default configuration. Okay, so that's how the pieces fit together. Here's why no SaaS vendor is racing to tell you this. An independent teardown posted on the Supabase community forum put a mid-size RAG pipeline, roughly 200,000 vectors, a few thousand queries a day, comfortably inside Supabase's free tier, with the equivalent workload costing an estimated $200 to $300 a month on a managed vector database once you're past the free allotment. Flowise's own GitHub repository has cleared 30,000 stars, and its Docker deployment guide gets you from 0 to a running instance in about 15 minutes on a machine with 4 gigabytes of RAM. No GPU required for the orchestration layer itself, since the actual model calls get routed out to whichever API or local runtime you've configured. LibreChat's self-hosted install is a single Docker Compose file, and community reports from its Discord put average VPS costs for a small team, 5 to 10 users, at $15 to $25 a month total, covering all 3 tools on one box, assuming you're calling out to a hosted model API rather than running inference locally too. Layer in a 4 to 8 gigabyte RAM droplet from any of the major cloud providers, and the entire 3-tool stack, chat interface, automation builder, and backend, fits comfortably on a single $20 instance for a team under 10 people. The honest caveat: those cost comparisons come from community-reported setups and forum posts, not a controlled vendor-neutral benchmark run under identical load, so treat the exact dollar gap as directionally right rather than independently audited. What's not in dispute is the order of magnitude. You're trading a monthly bill that regularly clears $1,500 for a $20 server and an afternoon of configuration, so that's the headline gap. Now the honest part, because the framing oversells in a couple of places, here's where it actually costs you something. First, none of these tools come with a support line. When Fly's node configuration throws a cryptic error at 11 p.m., there's no chat widget with a human on the other end. There's a GitHub issues page, and if you're lucky, a Discord thread from someone who hit the same wall a month earlier. Second, Supabase's free tier pauses inactive projects after a week, which is fine for a side project and genuinely annoying for anything customer-facing that needs to always be on. At that point, you're paying Supabase's own hosted tier anyway, which narrows the savings compared to the free tier number everyone quotes. Third, LibreChat's multi-user permission system is functional but nowhere near as granular as Intercom's role-based access, so if you need fine-grained team permissions, different visibility for support, sales, and engineering, you're building some of that yourself, either with custom middleware or by accepting a coarser permission model than you had before. And fourth, all three of these projects ship frequent breaking changes. Flowise in particular has restructured its node schema more than once in the last year, which means an automation you build today may need small fixes after an upgrade 6 months from now. This is a real stack for a real team with some spare setup time and someone willing to read a changelog occasionally. It is not a zero-effort swap-in for a company that needs a vendor to call when something breaks at 2 a.m. So, okay, given all that, here's the fork. Pick this stack if you're a solo builder or a small team, you're comfortable owning your own uptime, and your monthly SaaS bill across chat, automation, and vector search is already north of $500. It's also the right call if you're pre-revenue and simply can't justify a $1,500 monthly commitment before you've validated the product it's supporting. Pick the managed SaaS route if you need guaranteed uptime with someone else contractually on the hook for it, if you're handling data with compliance requirements you don't want to own the audit trail for, or if your team genuinely doesn't have anyone who wants to be responsible for a Docker Compose file at 2 a.m. The builders who lose here are the ones who self-host this stack, hit the first real outage during a product launch, and have no one internally who knows how to fix it. That's not a savings story anymore. That's downtime with extra steps, and downtime during a launch costs more than a year of Intercom's invoice. And the calculus shifts again depending on where these projects go next. What to watch, whether Supabase's free tier pause policy loosens for small production apps, and whether Flowise ships the enterprise-grade access controls its GitHub roadmap has been hinting at for a few releases now. Also worth tracking, LibreChat's contributor base has been merging permission system pull requests at a steadier clip over the last 2 quarters, which suggests the multi-user gap narrows faster than the other 2 limitations. If all 3 land roughly together, this stack stops being a spare time project and starts being a legitimate default for teams under 20 people, not just solo builders willing to tolerate rough edges. If none of them land, the stack stays exactly what it is today. Free, functional, occasionally frustrating, and entirely yours to maintain. Either way, the direction of travel is the same. Every quarter, the gap between self-hosted free and managed expensive gets a little smaller, not bigger. Which is why the real question was never whether these tools are free. The real question was always who's willing to own the machine instead of renting someone else's. Start with one tool this weekend. The builders who host their own stack stop paying rent on tools they could run themselves.